We're about to explore the Adriatic and have just arrived in Koper, Slovenia. Where is that, you might ask? It's about 50 miles to the east of Venice across the Adriatic, and only 12 miles south of the Italian city of Trieste, which is our next port of call. It borders Italy to the west, Austria and Hungary to the north, and Croatia to the south and east. Rachel is finding a map of the town for us, and it's another beautiful day. It's the main port of Slovenia, and in recent years has been a popular cruise ship destination. I have to admit that before we came here, I'd never heard of it. But I was in for a pleasant surprise. It is a quaint, quiet destination that we were able to explore easily on foot. I have noticed that many cruise ship passengers never get off the ship. But here I noticed most people strolled down the gangway and were having a look around. The ship itself only 5 minutes away from the town, allowing even people in wheelchairs to be able to have a look around. The first place we encounter is the city square and the 15th century Gothic, Venetian, Praetorian Palace. It's now where the tourist office is located. The Loggia Palace is also a Venetian Gothic palace, the earliest part of which dates from 1462. Today there's a cafe on the ground floor. Right in the middle of the square, the Catholic Cathedral of the Assumption, built in the 12th century, and the bell tower which houses one of the oldest bells in Slovenia from around 1333. The upper terrace of the tower is sometimes open to the public and allows great views over the Bay of Trieste. You might wonder why the bells are ringing so heartily today, but it's actually a Sunday, and it's also Father's Day. Inside the church is beautiful. It was built in the 12th century in Romanesque style, with 3 naves, each ending with an apse. The pipe organ, very impressive. We loved Koper. History all around, interesting things to see, and a few cafes to have a drink. And wherever we walked, we kept getting a glimpse of the ship. Clearly Banksy was here. I think I'd seen him on the ship. Many of the places we visit with the ship are quite large, but the population of Koper is only 25,000. It makes for a very relaxing day, really enjoyable and certainly different. One street was called Cobbler Street, as during the 19th century, more than 20 cobblers worked here. The main trades were seamen, fishermen, and urban farmers, called Paulani. Whereas some of the buildings were quite run down, others had clearly been homes of wealthy people. Some of the places here were fascinating. The town was different in many ways and certainly unusual, and we observed great contrasts as we walked around. The Da Ponte fountain was an important source of water in past times. The current fountain was built in 1666. Its superstructure is in the shape of a bridge, very reminiscent of the Rialto in Venice. I didn't realize this, but Koper was formerly an island until 1825, when it was connected to the mainland by a causeway and drainage works. A map of 1781 shows what it was like, but there's also a plaque in the pavement here showing it. By the 16th century, the city was facing water shortages, and to alleviate this, water from a 2-mile distant spring was piped to the island via wooden underwater tubes. Unbelievable. The fountain was used as a source of potable water until 1898. Koper surely has a fascinating history. At this point in time, Rachel asked me if I felt like having a drink. Sightseeing is thirsty work, and we found just the place. And Rachel tried the Slovenian answer to Coca-Cola. The verdict?
It's certainly more herbal tasting than a regular Coke, and not so sweet, but actually very refreshing.
So Rachel, what do you think of Koper?
It's been an absolutely wonderful experience coming to Koper in Slovenia. It's a small, old, quaint little town, and even though it's Sunday and most of the shops are closed, there are still a few that are open, and they all have their unique little pieces and knickknacks that you can have a look at even if you're not going to buy.
Many cruise ship passengers worry that they may not make it back to the ship in time, but here it's so close, it's almost impossible to miss the boat, so to speak. So I got back on the ship, and Rachel wanted to explore because she'd heard there was a beach nearby, and we still had half an hour before we sailed. So these are her shots, and I have to say, I really wish I'd gone with her.
I'll take you with me from this place of despair. Take me out to roam the world again. Take me out to roam the world. Take me out to roam the world. Take me out to roam.
So we're soon back on the ship, enjoying dinner and looking forward to the sail away, getting the last shots. and reminiscing on a great day in Koper, Slovenia. Next port of call, Trieste in Italy.